Hello everybody, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. I'm going to put the disclaimers up here on the top left hand side of the screen, so please read them, even if you need to pause the video to do so. Now whilst they're doing that, just to point you down here, lost my mouse there, to where you can go if you have questions. So you've got two different email addresses here. You have Becky@tradewithufos and support@tradewithufos. So two different email addresses that you can reach out to if you have questions. There's also a link you can go to, tradewithufos.com/Becky. That will take you to this app here, or this link here. This link will give you basically different routes to different resources and help that you could use. You've got different apps and platforms at the top here. If you scroll down, you could book one-on-one coaching if you'd like. If you scroll down a bit more, you'll notice a frequently asked questions section. So people post questions there. You might find answers to your questions in here. If not, you can log in for free and ask the question in this space yourself. So those are different places you can go for questions or if you need help or resources. Now let's get into our 3D market commentary, which is what we're here to do. So our 3D market commentary is a video that we do to essentially give context to this email that we send out to our free members every day. The email is what is on the left-hand side of the screen. Now this email goes through major markets, major world markets, and we look at three different statistical elements per market every day, Monday to Friday. That's why we call it a 3D approach or a 3D market commentary, looking at three major elements per market as we go through these sessions. Now, the three things that we look at, first and foremost, is market climate, which essentially means which is the likely upcoming market direction. Then we have buy and sell UFOs, which is essentially where do we have buyers and sellers that could push price up or down. Now, before we get on to market volatility, just to show you what we use in terms of the technology for these two things. For understanding the upcoming market direction, we use an app called AutoClimate. It's a free app on most platforms that you can get it on. And what it does is it shows us with these colored dots where the probability lies. So if you ignore the lines for now and focus on the dots, if we have a thick blue dot, that tells us probability is up. If we have a thick red dot, then probability is down. And if we have a thin dot of either color, that tells us probability is neither direction. When it comes to buy and sell UFOs, buyers and sellers that could push price up or down, we use an app called Auto UFOs that helps us figure out where lots of buyers are and could therefore push price up. Shows us that with the buy UFOs, which are green. We also want to know where lots of sellers are that could push price down, and it shows us these with the red UFOs. So we'll look at that per market. Then we'll look at market volatility, which is essentially how quickly we expect these markets to move. So we start with the S&P 500, which is the top 500 US stocks. We're looking at a daily chart of each of our markets. Of course, different things happen on different time frames. We are focusing on a daily chart here. So for the S&P 500, we see a thin dot. That tells us that there is not enough probability in either direction. This market doesn't really know what it's doing on this time frame. Now, we do have sellers reasonably close to us between 44.84.5 to 44.22.75. Of course, if price were to get up there, we would expect the sellers to push it back down. We've got quite a way to go before we meet buyers. Buyers are down here between 39.83.75 to 39.33.75. So overall, not enough probabilities in either direction. If we were going to hit either buyers or sellers, more likely that we'll hit the sellers first and they will push price down. But for the time being, not enough probability in either direction. With volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year of 27.46%. So in a day, that's 74.83 points. In a week, 164.73 points. In a month, 342.94 points. Again, that's either up or down. So that's the S&P 500. Overall, not enough probabilities either way today. Now the next market is crude oil. So let's load that. As we do that, just to point out here about our courses that we offer, different courses you can take to help you in understanding futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, and psychology. Now, most of our courses come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps that we use. Now, AutoClimate, which is this one here, that's a free app on most platforms. You can get it on anyway. But Auto UFOs, which show us where the buyers and sellers are, this one, that's a paid for monthly subscription. Depending on which platform you use, which brokers you're using, depends on what the cost of that is per month, but it is a paid for monthly subscription. So with our courses, you get 3 months of complimentary access to those apps. You can subscribe directly to the UFOs if you'd like to. You don't have to do a course in order to get them. You can just go directly and get the technology. Most of the time, though, it's cheaper to get them for free as part of a course for 3 months than it would be to just use them for 3 months. So check that out. Okay, so crude oil. Let's just squidge this down a bit and see what we're looking at. Similar to the S&P 500, we have a thin dot. Not enough probability in either direction, doesn't quite know what it's doing at the moment on this time frame. We're also far away from buyers and sellers that could affect us. We have sellers up here at 130.5 to 115.54. We have buyers here at 80.47 to 77.83. So quite a big range there between where the buyers and sellers are. Overall, what that means is we're unlikely to be influenced by either stacks of buyers or sellers today. The climate doesn't know what it's doing. Keep away from it. No need to trade something that doesn't have clear probabilities, either up or down. Now, in terms of volatility, we'd expect oil to go up or down in 1 year by 59.35%. So in a day, that's 3.73 points. In a week, 8.21 points. And in a month, 17.08 points, either up or down. Okay, so the next market is gold. Let's load this. So with gold, similarly again, we have a thin dot, not enough probability in either direction. So again, we don't have confirmed probability or statistical likelihood in either direction. So we don't do anything. There's no point trading if we don't have clear probabilities. Now with gold, we do have some sellers quite close by. They are between 2015.1 to 1960.6. If price were to go up and hit these sellers, we would expect them to push price back down again. We've also got quite a way to go before we hit buyers. They're down here at 1815.8 to 1788.5. So overall, not enough probabilities right now to call it in either direction, but if we were to hit these sellers, we would expect price to be pushed down at least a little bit. In terms of volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year on gold by 22.51%. In a day, that's 27.58 points. In a week, 60.72 points. And in a month, 126.39 points. So that's gold. Now, before we move on, just to highlight down here about our coaching and support that we offer. We do a lot for free on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you can email us and you can go to our resources pages and we can help you with many different things for free. Now, we do also have a closed coaching community, which is a small monthly fee to get access to more resources and live trading videos. So check that out if you want to. Otherwise, like I said, we do a lot for free. Okay, so the next market is the US dollar. Now, the US dollar, for the time being, has a thick blue dot, which is probability upwards. However, price has recently dropped, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this change tomorrow to an unconfirmed climate. So if you had to call it, you'd say probability up right now, but I would say based on recent price movement, that might not last very long. Now, we do have buyers here between 97.85 to 97.295. They've already worked. Price came into them a few days ago, hit the buyers, went up from there. That's what we expect buyers to do, push price up. That's why we want to know where they are. So if price were to come down and hit these buyers, we'd expect them to push price up again. Now, we do have sellers here between 99.995 to 99.7, obviously further away from the sellers. Overall, probability up for the time being, but like I said, based on recent price movement, I wouldn't expect that to necessarily last very long, so be aware of that. With volatility, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year on the US dollar of 8.86%. So in a day, 0.55 points up or down. In a week, 1.21 points up or down. And in a month, 2.51 points up or down. That's the US dollar. Now, the last market, last but not least, is backed Bitcoin. So as I load this, just to highlight down here, our platform, it's called TOP, stands for Traditive Options Planner. Now, if you are an options trader, it is especially helpful because of all of the integrated apps that are exclusive to that platform. But even if you don't trade options, if you trade stocks or Forex or futures, it's a great platform to use for analysis. It's easy to use. And again, it has all of our apps integrated into it. So you can, if you trade with our methodology, it's a very helpful platform to use. Okay, so last but not least, backed Bitcoin, we have a thick blue dot probability upwards. We have buyers here between 39,847.5 to 38,220. So if price were to come down and hit these buyers, we'd expect them to push price back up again. We have sellers up here between 45,205 to 42,935. Again, if we project that price went upwards and hit these sellers, we expect them to push price back down again. Overall, we're in between both of those stacks of buyers or sellers, so our probability to the upside is coming from our climate. Now, in terms of volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year on Bitcoin by 82.68%. So in a day, 2,124.1 points. In a week, 4,675.98 points. And in a month, 9,733.83 points. So that is each of our markets. For each of our markets, we've looked through the climate, using auto climate to give us an idea of where the probabilities might lie for the upcoming movement. We've also looked at buy and sell UFOs, where we have buyers that could push price up, where we have sellers that could push price down, and we've looked at market volatility, which is how quickly we expect the markets to move. Now, the last thing to look at is our weekly economic calendar. We get this from fxstreet.com, and we filter by high impact news. We want to know which scheduled news reports could affect the markets that we're trading. So today being Thursday, by the way, 17th of March, happy St. Paddy's Day to those that celebrate that. We have, in terms of things that we've got quite a lot that's already come out by the looks of it. So we had some news that came out 8 a.m. Eastern time that affected the pound, a lot of things back to back that would have affected the pound and British markets. And we have some news coming out at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time that could affect, in fact, that's an all-day holiday in India that could affect Indian markets or the rupee. So be aware of that as well. Okay. Any questions, you can email me, Becky@traditive.com, or you have this link here, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. You can get different apps and platforms from here, book one-on-one coaching if you'd like, or scroll down and find a place where lots of questions and answers happen. You might be able to find some answers there, or you can log in for free and get your question answered in this area. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow for the next market commentary. Have a great trading day and see you soon.